Was having a lively conversation with a client yesterday about the organization that she leads, and she finds herself in this moment where it's a quandary. She
Mm,
has decisions to make.
mm.
And oftentimes, what I think every leader is faced with is there are consequences to the
Yeah.
decisions that we make.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Live Fully, Lead Authentically. I'm Kurt Busch. You just heard Chris Godfredson. We are co-founders and coaches here at Brimstone Coaching Group. Let me just say before I interview you, Chris, I'm definitely not going to interview you. But
Yeah,
before
you're
I
not.
get us back to what you just said, let me just remind the listener that we want to hear from every one of you listening.
Hmm.
We want to know what you think about what we're saying. We'd love some feedback. We'd love some questions. If we leave you hanging unintentionally on some of this stuff, shoot us an email at livefullyleadauthentically@gmail.com or put it in a comment on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find us. We would love to engage those. And at some point in the near future, we'll engage all of those in what we call a mailbag episode. We just want to create a conversation and create a community a little more lively around the pod, besides Chris and I just talking at you the whole time. Uh, or we're not talking at, we're talking to each other. We're just
Yeah, we are.
we're pulling up a chair for
It's
people.
a really kind invitation, and we hope you do take us up on it.
Yeah,
Words
that.
are hard. We
Yeah.
hope you take us up on it. I'm not sure I want to hear from every listener, but you said that, so I guess I have to.
I am a 9 Enneagram people pleaser, so
Yes, you are.
every single person, I want to hear from every single
Yeah,
person. Uh,
fair enough.
Chris, back to your statement from just a second ago.
Yeah.
Leadership consequences.
Mm,
Number one, consequences is a word
it
that
is.
for a long time for me had only negative connotations, but there
Mm,
are good consequences too, right?
I
Uh,
think so.
but I'm curious when you talk about leadership consequences, especially when we think about this series that we're in the middle of, where we're kind of talking
Mm,
to small business owners,
yeah.
entrepreneurs, mission minded, mission driven people that are kind of driving the vision and the mission of their organization.
Hmm.
I imagine people are like, yeah, I get it. These leadership decisions have consequences.
Yeah, they
It's
do.
it's every day.
It is every day. Well, I guess I am still a small business owner,
Yeah.
but my previous, I don't know, 25 to 30 years of business ownership, when we made a mistake, there was there were always decisions to make,
Yeah.
and so you did that incorrectly. I want that for free,
Yeah.
or I
Yeah.
want 17 more of these. I use that number too frequently, 17. It's just the one that I grab.
That's a
Um,
strange number to grab, but I like
it
it.
is, and that's why I grab that number, because it's a strange one. It stops you in your tracks.
It does.
The point is that when we make decisions, there is a consequence, and
Yeah.
we can. So I had 25 to 30 years of business ownership in that, and so there's a degree to which I think that the success of that business, the ability to continue to operate it, was founded on the principle that the customer is always right.
Mm. Yeah.
And so when the customer is always right, there were some circumstances and some situations that I was just not willing to argue about,
Mm.
or I didn't feel the necessity to argue because I had that mental model in the front of my brain, right, that says the
Yeah.
customer is always right.
Yeah.
So I tried to make decisions that were most in alignment with my customers, or that, for lack of a better word, kept them happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's that's not always the way I think about life and leadership today.
Yeah.
I might have behaved differently 15 years ago when I was like in the day to day of it
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
I might have behaved differently. I would have pressed and pushed on some buttons, and I may have made some decisions that were different, that had consequences that were different
Yeah.
than I did. But when when a retail owner is having a conversation with an angry client, like the decision and is really real
Yeah.
for me and for them, and so are the
Yeah.
consequences, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So here's a wondering I have. I wonder if there's a myth out there, wherever out there is, and
Yeah,
whoever they are that has this myth.
yeah,
Like sometimes I wonder if there's a myth that we believe that consequences only come after the wrong decision. Or
yeah,
if I make the right decision, there won't be any consequences.
right.
Is
Yeah.
is that true?
I don't think so. What do you think?
I my my last 15 years of life have told me that there is no free lunch. There is no decision that comes without consequence.
Yeah. Yep.
Like
But the fact that our minds go to negative,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
is something. Like
yeah,
so say we make a decision that leads to some freedom
yeah,
or or less stress. So
yeah.
I was referencing on the front end in the intro. I was meeting with a client yesterday, and in our conversation, she uh, works with a lot of volunteers.
Hmm.
And as she works with these volunteers, uh, they have like agreed upon ways of behaving.
Yeah,
Like they've made choices together to say, okay, when our groups come together, you will be there. And
yeah,
there's times when our groups come together, we will break off into smaller groups. And when the activity begins at 7:30 and 45 minutes before activity begins, you get a text that says, where we canceled our group. That was not agreed upon.
yeah,
And so what happens then for this leader is all kinds of things stir.
yeah,
And and there's consequences to every decision we make.
yeah,
I think there's consequences for the people who, for those leaders, those volunteers who opted out, who made a decision that was out of alignment with norms,
yeah,
predetermined outcomes. There's a consequence for those people that were canceled on. There's consequences for the leader,
yeah.
and so in a conversation about this, like just leaning in and trying to ask thoughtful questions. Like, what is it that you, or what is it that you desire? Do you have an outcome that you desire?
Mm, yeah,
And uh, I just I ask question after question after question to help her get to a place where she can make a choice about what's the consequence that is most aligned with who and how I want to be, that
yeah,
enables me to live with it,
yeah,
the with the consequence. So you could just keep going, but there's a consequence for trusting people you can't trust.
yeah, yeah,
There's also a consequence for firing volunteers. You
yeah.
say you used to work in the church. Did you ever fire volunteers? How'd that work out? Pretty great, right?
Yeah, great. There was never a problem with that. That was
I mean,
they were happy.
it's yeah. The it's leadership is so challenging.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
have a longtime customer and they come in and they want to fight with you about whatever it is, if it's the widgets that you made or if it's the dress that you sold them that is flawed, maybe it's a cashmere sweater with a red dot on it that you bought, seeing the dot, but you want to blame them about it. Um,
nice reference, by the
yes, you're welcome. Thank you, Seinfeld. uh, the consequences and what we do with the decisions we make really matter.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think you're right. I mean, I think I think it's so important to think about what will happen after our next move. So this
Mhm.
example with that you just gave, where this person's working with the volunteers, like
Yeah.
there is a next move that has to happen, right?
Yep.
Um,
Correct.
and I wonder about the importance of saying, not just wondering what is the best move, but what happens after the best move. Like, is that
Yeah.
an important conversation to have, to think about? Well, then what, or then what, or what? I mean, how far down do you go in that conversation to think about consequences?
Well,
You know,
that's a good question. And I'm not sure I have the answer in real
yeah,
time. In right now between you and I, what I would say is as we listen to people and as we help other people think, and when I can get to my best thinking, and I find myself in my own situation where I need to make a decision, understanding consequences, like how curious can I be with myself in real time
yeah, yeah,
about, well, what's next? What are the unintended consequences?
yeah, yeah.
What is it that, what is the outcome I desire? What's best? So we pursued 4 or 5 different pathways
Mm,
in our conversation yesterday.
yeah.
And the best decision, the decision made in real time was I'm not doing anything with this right now.
Mm, yeah, yeah,
I have time.
yeah,
I'm stirred. I'm angry. I'm hurt. I'm confused. All of these things were stirring, and she was able to bring those to the surface. And her best thinking was, yeah, I'm going to take a few days to let this sit.
yeah, yeah.
And
I
and
like that.
and and yeah, I was pretty impressed that that was the decision. And I'll be curious to discover the path she takes because there is impact. And
Yeah,
I don't know, man. For me, it's I think I have to get clear on. Henry Cloud says it this way: we get what we create and what we allow. And there's times when we're crystal clear,
yeah,
and then life or people
yeah,
happen,
yeah,
and then stuff goes sideways, and now I find myself in this position where I make a decision, and is can I live with the decision that I'm making? Because I didn't, this mess is not my creation.
yeah,
But
yeah,
if I allow it to go on, or if I don't check it or check myself in the midst of it, I or if the real inkling with these volunteers is to say, thanks, thank you for your service. We're going to go another, like, I think that this violated some things. And if it's the first time, that's okay. But if
yeah,
you're a repeat offender, there's more likely that maybe there's a decision to part ways or to say thank you.
yeah,
But I need to pass. I need to just ask you to step down because it's in the best interest of everyone.
yeah, yeah,
The other members of the group, the all of it, and we just have to get to a point of clarity
yeah,
where what am I willing to deal with? Because
yeah,
if I make a
yeah,
decision, right, if I make a decision to keep them on, to not let them go, I like forfeit the right to
yeah,
be hypercritical anymore.
yeah,
That's on me now. I made the
yeah,
choice.
yeah. Which feels like an important piece of this, right? This
Yeah.
idea of like going into these decisions with both eyes open,
Yes.
and understanding the agency we have, and the things that we then accept
Yeah.
for ourselves, and the things that we give up. I had a guy, when I was in my manufacturing era. That's a Taylor Swift
Yeah.
reference.
I would not know that.
Okay, well, that's a little Easter egg. When I worked in a manufacturing plant, I supervised a process that had a department manager who, I'm just going to say, I've had better leaders around me. I'm just going to say it like that.
Yeah.
But he would say to me, and I'm going to clean this up for the pod a little bit. He would say, "Well, Kurt, do you want to get kicked in the groin today, or do you want to get kicked in the teeth today?" And
Ah,
uh, I I I don't know how I feel about the sentiment of where that was coming from, but I think what I
Right.
learned in that moment is like today there are some decisions to be made and none of the consequences are going to feel great,
Yeah.
but make it on purpose, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Choose which blow you want to absorb.
Yeah. Right.
and and I think that's true, even like that's been a helpful thing for me to remember even in times where there's not anything quite as substantial as getting kicked in the teeth or kicked in the groin, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but there are
So,
moments. Yeah, go ahead.
no, finish your sentence. There are moments.
There are moments when it just is important to slow down and remember that maybe the decision isn't as clear cut when you start thinking about what happens next.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I'm glad that I made you keep going.
Yeah, thanks.
The, yeah. Because like every decision, like we talked about this last time, like every change changes everything.
Yeah.
And so every decision has impact and it has like far reaching impact. So how do you, when you find yourself making a choice between where you get kicked or between the decision, what's the consequence that you are considering? How do you
Hmm.
keep the long game in mind?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I not very well most of the time, if I'm honest. But
Well,
so
yeah,
here's what I like. I have a longer decision making process, but I think the first question, if there's not a clear cut, gosh, to your volunteer point, like this is, if there's not something harming the organization or harming people or harming the mission and culture, like if it's not as clear cut as that, I do like to stop and think like which of these consequences am I willing to bear.
yeah,
Like I think there are a lot of decisions we make as small business owners, as mission driven folks. I think there's a lot of decisions we make that aren't always as black and white as like this is right, this is wrong, this is unacceptable, this is acceptable. So I think
yeah,
for me, it really is about like what what consequence am I willing to bear, and which one is going to allow me to align myself with where I'm headed or who I want to be or how I want to be.
yeah. I
Um,
think that that's great. What I hear you saying is the way to get the most important thing might be, am I not giving up self?
Yeah, I think often.
Yeah.
Again, I think
Not
there are
every time,
not
but
every time. I mean,
yeah.
I think there's a lot of decisions that are a little more clear cut of like this is harming the organization or harming
Yeah.
the culture. But yeah, I think for me as a leader, I do want, or at least I want to know if I'm giving up self. Like
Yeah.
there are times where like you and I we launched a small business together. There are times where we give up ourself and
Yeah.
we do that on purpose.
Yeah.
The question is like I'm going to make a decision with the consequences that I choose because now I have agency. Whereas like if I'm allowing a consequence to happen to me, now I've been disempowered. I'm a victim. I'm
Yeah.
kind of a passenger. I think there's an importance to know what I'm getting into when I'm making the decision, so
Yeah.
that I can own it and be responsible
Yeah.
for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's great. Really well said.
Yeah. Can I give you an example?
Please do. Love
Is that
your
okay? I feel
examples.
like I've been like
Yeah.
muttering around uh muttering around my answer, but
You have
yeah.
not.
So in a church setting, uh I didn't have direct supervisory responsibility over some really long-term employees that were part-time employees. I didn't have direct supervisory responsibility, but I interacted with them a lot and could tell
Hmm.
that there'd been some slippage in some performance,
Yeah.
that some results weren't resulting quite as
Yeah.
as I would like them to result.
Yeah.
And if I'm most honest with you and the listener, I would get stirred up at times, and
Mm.
I would get angry or I would get frustrated, and I would say to the supervisor of these individuals, I would say, it's time. right?
Yeah.
Like it's time to kind of end our relationship together. And this person would look at me very calmly, also has a lot of these tools and principles in his tool bag. And
Hmm.
he would ask me a simple question of like, are you sure that you want to, in not so many words, are you sure you want to bear those consequences? Uh, and the one consequence is we end a relationship with a part-time staff person that has far-reaching implications in a small town community in a small church, far-reaching implications. Uh,
Yeah.
and on the flip side, maybe the glass doors just aren't as clean. You know, like
Hmm. Right.
there are consequences on both sides, and
Yeah.
I look back now and I'm really grateful for this person that asked me that question, because no, I in my stirred up, yep, we're ending this relationship, this is the end of the road.
Right. Yeah.
But with some help, thinking like, okay, what are the implications? What Nope, let's pull back on that just a little bit. So
Yeah.
I think that is, yeah, I mean, I think everything you said is right, and I think this stuff is really hard in practice.
Yeah. Right. I mean, there's great value in being able to, I don't know, catch our breath, to be able
Yeah,
to like, try to do our level best to get up in a balcony or to have someone else help us make sense out of
yeah,
decisions we make. And not every mission driven leader, not every small business owner has that kind of person in their life. And that's
yeah,
probably something, this is a conversation for the end of this episode. But like, perspective is everything.
yeah, yeah,
And it's, I think, the ability to understand when and why and how it is that we are stirred enables us maybe to behave in ways that are more aligned with how we prefer. That was poetic if you didn't catch it.
that was amazing what you just did there.
Let's go.
This is podcast Hall of Fame stuff right there.
Woo! Not really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just, as we sit here and talk, Chris, I mean, tell me what you think about what I'm about to say. I just don't know. I don't know there's ever been a time where I, as a leader, have become more aware of myself and what's ahead of me, and felt more agency to have some control over it. I've never felt those things and had that be a bad thing. I've never felt
Yeah,
those things and not had them impact my leadership positively. Right.
exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think the awareness that I do have some choice and opportunity to make best thinking decisions is possible for every leader.
Yes.
And it's more, I think it's more taught than caught.
I agree.
I mean, I think that there are times when if you are around someone long enough, you do catch it. But what I'm trying to say is every leader can learn these skills.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
skill to be able to understand myself, to be able to uh, like take a break in the moment, to be able to actually behave in ways I prefer. It's
Yeah.
possible. Um, Not only a salesman, I'm also the client, right? However
Yep.
that goes.
Yep. Yep.
Butchering an old metaphor,
Yeah.
but we can do these things, and
Yeah.
I know because I've learned, and sometimes I do it really well.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
times less so.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Chris, I don't know what else I want to say. I feel like you've started to land the plane, and I think that's okay.
Hmm.
I think I want you to. I think I want you to.
Okay. Well, here's what I would say to the target audience, right? And to small business owners, nonprofit execs, mission-driven leaders. You're carrying most of the load yourself.
Yeah.
You're making decision after decision every day, and decision integrity and decision fatigue are both real things.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, they're opposites.
Yeah.
And so when I think about that, to have conversation partners in your life that help you think about the decisions that you make, how you want to go about making decisions, what are, who am I, and how do I want to be, and how
Yeah.
do I
Yeah.
want to actually live and lead. Most of the time, we need somebody outside of us to help us actually gain the real perspective that enables us to show up in ways we prefer. And
Yeah.
that's that's who we are. It's what we do. There's any, I mean, and we've had people do this for us along the way, which
Yeah.
is why we're in this practice of journeying with both individual leaders and with teams of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if engaging with us sounds like it could be useful to you, how would they go about doing that, Kurt?
Yep. Easy click on the website, brimstonecoachinggroup.com. There is a schedule tab. And on that schedule tab, you can find a button that says schedule a call and get a free 30-minute inquiry call where, you know what, we can just have a conversation and see if our coaching philosophy fits with your felt need and your desire for growth and transformation, and if they're a match. If they are, man, we'd love to journey with you, the listener, and if not, that's okay too. We get it, for sure.
Yeah.
We also do a lot of this work with groups. Um, Actually, as we're recording this today, we're getting ready to do this with the Chamber of Commerce
Yep.
with some people just like the listener who are small merchant owners, who are retailers, who are leaders of small organizations, and that is one of the places where our bread gets buttered, meaning like our heart beats for these people.
Yeah.
This is the work we love, love, love to do. Um, yeah, when those questions of where I want to get kicked, when those get asked, we would love to be a person that could help you process uh,
Yeah.
how to make that decision and how to move forward in it.
Yep. If you want to learn a little bit more about who we are, we both have a presence on LinkedIn where we are writing and engaging with people around the globe. And on our website, you can also click on the courses tab where you can engage in a guided online experience over the course of 10 days that just might help you begin to attend to some of the things that you're carrying. And
Yeah,
all of this is for the sake of being able to live fully and lead authentically.
yeah, well said.
Thank you.
Thanks for the conversation today, Chris.
Yeah, I appreciate it.